It's Eli again, and hello.
Got with the pitch, cutting it back inside, and he is hammered. Slides off one tackle, off another one, puts it on his feet. Touchdown! 11-13.
It's the Battle of Division Champions, the Royal vs. the Classic. Glassboro comes in with South Jersey's longest winning streak at 13 games.
Doesn't matter. We have to match whatever they have. And if we don't, they'll win. If we do, hopefully we will win. We'll see.
Kingsway will look to end that streak and knock off the Group 1 champions.
We've been looking forward to this game since we heard about it last spring. And we're going out there to try to win the ball game. And that's why those kids, they worked so hard from the time we started practice. So it's a real big ball game for us.
Well, they're going to come on. We're going to be ready to play. Tony works up his staff does a great job of their kids. And they're always ready in the beginning of the year. And I know it's going to be a battle every play, the whole game.
It's an awesome game. I love the matchup. I like this better than another preview. It's a bigger challenge. You get more people coming out to watch the games and everything. It's going to be a battle. We're going to wait till tonight to see what happens.
We're ready for the opening kickoff here. Hi, everybody. This is Rick Gadosh along with Sean Leary, and we have a football game for you tonight between Glassboro and Kingsway, both the defending champs of their divisions in the Royal and Classic. Kickoff underway, and it's taken back deep by Holmes, and Holmes cuts back, and he's taken down right about at the 20-yard line.
Nice tackle there by Trino Brown. Comes in as senior, able to take the stick on Holmes. Rick, you can see it. Terrence Holmes and what kind of a wide receiver, what kind of threat he is. Always running with his head up, and there you've seen it with the kickoff. Able to break one at any time.
Okay, so Keem Bright brings his team out of the huddle now. Far right is Holmes. On the other side, we have Jason Muse. Split out to the side. He hands off on the inside to Evans, Kevin Evans, who had about 80 yards last week, picks up about 4 in the first carry of the game here off the right side.
Yeah, they just want to break the ice with a team like Kingsway, one of the best defenses last year in the Tri-County Conference. Get something going, try to establish a running game early, then try to open it up later on with Holmes and Sakeen Wright on the outside.
Again, it's Holmes split out to this side. He's looking for Holmes. It's his receiver he looks for a lot. Holmes, one man to beat, and he's taken down. Nice tackle on the play by Darius Fauntleroy.
Darius Fauntleroy, he's 6'2", 180. So he possesses it. Not only does he have the quickness, he also has the size to stay with Holmes. That's going to be an interesting matchup all night long. There, Fauntleroy, who is the younger brother of one Gary Fauntleroy, able to make the play.
Okay. We're early in the game, and it's about 10:53 to go. This period just underway. Third down and about, we'll call it 4 yards to go. And again, it's an I backfield for Glassboro, and we've got Holmes and Muse split out. We had a motion, I believe, by the tight end for Glassboro, and it's going to be a 5-yard penalty if that's the call.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to be on Glassboro. Somebody got jumpy in there. It's going to set him back and make this a longer third down conversion.
Well, if they weren't throwing on that play, they sure as heck are going to be throwing now. Glassboro picked right up where they left off last year. They averaged over 37 points a game and scored 47 in their first game against Hendrick Hudson last week in a 47-6 win.
And a lot of people who didn't think that they would have the same type of weapons back this year with a guy like Julian Worley leaving. Kevin Evans is a capable back who will possess a running threat all game long.
Holmes and Anuko are split out. In motion goes Anuko, and back to his right. He throws a little flare out to the side to Evans. Breaks one tackle, but he's hit hard. We got a loose ball, and let's see if it was down or motion was stopped or if they call it a fumble and a recovery. One official is pointing to the ground as if the forward motion was stopped.
Yeah, I think they're going to call him down. Nice job by Kingsway to sniff that out. Two guys on the outside. One of them, Chuck Ellis, who was able to make the play there. Impressive defensive first series for Kingsway, able to stop Glassboro right off the bat. Now they should be able to get some good field position.
All right, we're going to have our first punt of the evening. 4th down and about 5, a long 5. It's probably 6 for Glassboro. They'll be standing on his 15-yard line. Terrence Holmes. Holmes one step and a punt off the side of his foot. Looks like it's going to go out of bounds. Takes a nice Glassboro bounce and goes out near midfield at about the 47-yard line, where Kingsway will take over in their first possession of the game. Matt Anuko is the punter there for Glassboro, not Holmes. Check that. What can we expect from Kingsway, Sean?
Well, what I think Kingsway is going to want to try to do is try to establish a running game with Glassboro. They want to try to pound the ball up the middle. Glassboro has the speed to contain them on the outside, so I think they're going to want to try to pound it straight ahead at them.
First handoff is given to Tarif Hill, and he goes about 7 yards off the right side and taken down there by Shamar Robinson at about the 39-yard line, we'll call it, where it's going to be 2nd down and 3. Kingsway quick out of the huddle now, back to the line of scrimmage quickly. Sean Mullen at quarterback, and they're in an eye with Van Morter and Hill. And he gives it straight up to Van Morter, and he gets just about nothing.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Ed Bugard, defensive tackle, came through there, and he really disrupted that play. And that's what Glassboro is going to need to do. Get inside in a hurry, try to make Glassboro go to the outside, contain them on the outside. Nice job by Bugard right there to come up. He didn't actually come up with the tackle, but he disrupted the play.
Okay, 3rd down and a long 3 for Kingsway. Again in an eye, split out way on the outside is Wyckoff and Roberts. Wyckoff was the tight end. He pitch out to Hill. Hill is pulled out of bounds by Shamar Robinson. Again, a nice tackle by the young man. And they get a 1st down. 4-yard pickup there by Hill.
Yeah, nice job by Hill to turn that corner. And one thing, Robinson, he didn't go aggressively to the outside and try and contain him there. Also, a nice block downfield by Mike Roberts, the senior captain, 6'1", 182, able to contain that corner. Hill able to pick up the 1st down. Kingsway moves the sticks.
Nick Smith in the game now for Kingsway. He's the receiver on the far left side. They give it to Van Morter on the inside, and he's stacked right up at the line of scrimmage by big number 76, Ryan Devlin. Or not Ryan Devlin, check that. Isaac Chapman for Glassboro stood right up at the line, no gain.
Well, Isaac Chapman, 5'11", 290. Sometimes, I don't know what's in the water in Glassboro. You see guys like Ezekiel Jenkins last year. Here you have Mr. Chapman at 290 pounds. He's going to fill that middle up, try to make Kingsway bounce it to the outside and go right into Glassboro's strength, which is their speed on the outside.
Okay, now they're running, they got Van Morter, and in motion is Hill, and we got a pass from Mullen, and McMullen hits Mike Roberts for about a 5-yard flare out on the left side to pick up about 6. It's going to be 3rd down and about 4.
Rick, this is one of the things I wanted to see from McMullen early on. Last year he seemed a little tentative. When he would drop back in the pocket, he didn't have the arm strength. He seemed a little tentative, a little nervous to go back and drop back and pass. He improved as the season progressed, but you see it here with that quick arm strength, able to get the play out right away.
All right, we've got a timeout on the field, I believe, called by Kingsway, the way they motion. And yes, it is a timeout on the field called by Kingsway. 7:06 to go in the first quarter. 0-0 score. This is Rick Gadosh along with Sean Leary. And Sean, we had a game last week, Clayton and Bordentown, and Bordentown jumped out real quick on Clayton, and Clayton with not too many numbers. A game that was a little bit lopsided for a while. I do not expect that this evening.
No, I don't expect that. You know what? A lot of people look at this game, they say it could be a high-scoring game because both teams lost a little bit on defense. Teams like Kingsway, teams like Glassboro, they just retool. They don't rebuild, they retool. They get the guys, they have their defensive system. Herb Nealio, an excellent defensive coordinator. Tony Barchuk heads a great defense on Kingsway's side. And these are the guys that really do a nice job, know the game, and know how to stop their opponents.
Roberts split way out wide, and McMullen bumps into one of his own people, and he's stood up there at after about a 1-yard gain maybe. And the pulling guard on that, I believe it was Morrow, he might have bumped into when he was trying to pull out. It looked like it was a pitch out in play, or maybe that was a keeper for him all the way.
Yeah, I don't know if that was designed for him to pitch that out, but it seemed like Morrow got in a little bit in his way, and that's a job where you say, all right, it's 4th down. We'll be able to pin him back if we punt. If we do go for it, let's make up another play, not try to make it do anything stupid and lose the football there.
All right, 4th down and 4. They're in an I. McMullen behind the center looking, and we got motion. We don't know if it was Glassboro or if it was the tight end or the receiver for Kingsway that might have jumped. It might have been Kevin Evans, but we're not sure. He was set up as a receiver that time.
They're going to get Marty Farrow, looked like the senior wide receiver, 6 foot, 165 pounds, little anxious there. Looks like he was going to do about a 10 and in, 5 and in, try to get something dumped over the middle to him. Little anxious. Now, it's interesting, what do you do here? Do you punt or do you still go for it? Now, I think in this instance, if I'm Kingsway, I want to punt, pin him as deep as I can, and let my defense take over.
Fauntleroy brings in a play, and out comes Van Morter. So at 4th down and about 7, Kingsway's going to go for it with a single man in the backfield. McMullen drops back, and he's hit hard, and there's a fumble. Let's see if they recover. It might have been recovered by Kingsway.
It won't matter because it's 4th down. They changed possession. It's not going to matter who recovered the football. It does look like number 99 for Glassboro, and that's Keith Oswald, came up with the football. So it'll go down as a fumble recovery. Nonetheless, Glassboro takes over. Now the field position changes.
Absolutely. Greg Keith was the initial player for Glassboro that was trying to get on top of that ball. But again, like you said, it didn't really matter. They just wanted to cover the ball up and take possession at their own 40-yard line. 2-man backfield for Glassboro again, as Wright calling signals with Holmes, of course, split out along with Muse. Hakeem scrambling, looking for someone, and he finds Evans wide open, 1 man to beat. Is anybody going to catch him? He's got a beat on him right here. We may have a penalty on Glassboro. He might go all the way, but we are going to have a penalty. It may be on Muse of Glassboro.
Yeah, I think they're going to call this back, and it's going to be a clip.
Or it could be Holmes. They don't tell us in high school football, the officials do, but it was hard to... number 9, Terrence Holmes, was pleading his case with the official as soon as he threw the flag. That's what led us to believe that it was on him. And number 24 for Kingsway,
well, there you've seen Kevin Evans in the backfield. Nice run by Kevin Evans. Let's not forget what this guy's been able to do for Glassboro. Comes in, has big shoes to fill in Julian Worley. Able to cut outside there. You see the explosiveness of Kevin Evans. Able to break it outside. 1 man to beat. Got it down to about the 1-yard line. It will come back. But nonetheless, you do see the explosiveness of this Glassboro team.
Okay. We did have it was number 34, and that was Kevin Rydell that was making a beat on Evans to run him out of bounds. So the call, it will be a 1st down again from the spot of the foul. It's going to take it all the way back to...
That should be a 15-yard penalty on a clip. And there you see Kingsway coach talking to number 57, which is Eric Morrow.
And Sean McMullen.
And Sean McMullen. McMullen, of course, is the cornerback. Morrow, a linebacker.
I think Bob Cleary is questioning why that's coming all the way back to the line of scrimmage to be marched off 15 yards and not from where the foul might have occurred.
Well, I think they're going to call this where the foul did occur. They started at the 41-yard line. It is now back, I believe, at the 8.
Well, we've got...
That looks like a 33-yard penalty. It looks like it's going to be about first and about a full football field.
I would say it's about 1st down in the length of Kings Highway for a 1st down.
They're going to have all, but this is Glassboro. They can get that back in a hurry.
And here they go. Pitch out to Evans. Breaks a couple of tackles. Looks to get out of bounds and does at about the 20-yard line as he's knocked out there by Kevin Rydell again. Nice job by the safety for Kingsway to force Evans out of bounds. Evans with another pickup. He's got about 10 yards in the game so far.
Yeah, 10 yards on the game. Take back that long pass play. You see what Evans brings to this team. And it's a guy, when you lose a Julian Worley who has the speed, who has the ability to break something, and you replace him with Kevin Evans, that says something about your program and the type of kids you get inside your program.
Okay, right now, again with an eye in the backfield, he's got pitch out looking to Evans. Nobody throws a little pass over the top to Holmes, and Holmes moving quickly gets a lot of that yardage back, picks up about 12 yards, and it's going to be about third down and probably about 15 or 16 yards to go for a first down.
Lou Napoleon, the senior linebacker from Kingsway, made probably a touchdown saving tackle with the way Holmes can get to the outside. He was trying to cut back in on that screen, and he had the length of the field on the left-hand side, moving right to left on your television screen. He had that left-hand side open. If he was able to cut that corner, he may have had a lot of daylight. It looks like it's somebody's down on the field, but they're gonna have about third and about 15 to 18 here. Looks like it's gonna be about third and 18.
It's hard for us to pick up the number. We're trying to get that for you to see who's down on the field. And again, rolling around there, and we've got the trainers around him and one of the officials.
Phil Husser, the sophomore.
Phil Hussner, yes, the sophomore. He's 6'1", 160-pound center, defensive tackle. And I believe that Glassboro has to get all the way across the 50-yard line for that. So it's almost 19 yards for that first down. Third down and 19. And right now, the tone of the game, Sean, what I'm seeing so far is that even though Glassboro has been pinned back with penalties, they seem to have Kingsway on their heels a little bit.
Yeah, they do have them on their heels, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we return after these messages.
The score is 0. Glassboro out of that timeout now, takes with a third and a 19 to go for a first down after a major penalty put them back with about 40 yards to go, but they picked up some nice yardage. And Wright rolls out. He's looking for a receiver, doesn't find anybody. He's going to take it himself, looking to beat someone around the right side, and goes out of bounds as he's forced out there by Marty Farrow, who pushes him out of bounds at about the 40-yard line, the original line of scrimmage. So after that's all said and done, they picked up about 30 yards in that, but still not enough for that first down.
Nah, they had an awful long way to go to pick up a first down. And like we were saying before we went to the break, they were moving the football. They have moved the football early on this Kingsway defense. They have had them on their heels, a couple of game-saving tackles and a penalty. And Glassboro could have at least had 7 points on the board thus far.
Matanuca will be the punter. He's about 10 yards deep for Glassboro. Gets the kick away. Nice punt. Taken there by Roberts. He touches the ball, and it looks like it might be recovered by Glassboro, and they do. They get it. Glassboro recovers at about the 34-yard line. Roberts tried to field that ball.
So look, that'll be the second turnover of the game for Kingsway. It looked like the ball was knuckling a little bit. Roberts trying to get under it. One of the things that he did, if young people are looking at this game, what he did was immediately went to his knees to try to catch the football. You never go to your knees. Chris Waters was able to come up with a football for Glassboro, but that's something you don't do as a kick returner or a punt returner. You never go to your knees when you're trying to catch the football.
All right, right now, and like we said earlier, we have Chris Waters in the game. He recovered that fumble for Glassboro on that punt. Wright looks back. He's looking, going to keep it himself, looking to get away. Going back, now swinging back to the right side, looking deep in the end zone, and he finds Holmes wide open. Touchdown, Glassboro.
Just like that. Sakeen Wright to Terrence Holmes. Misplay. It looks like Kingsway's going to have Sakeen Wright for a loss, or he's going to have to throw the ball away. Turns position of the field around. Terrence Holmes able to read his quarterback. They work so well together. 34-yard touchdown. Sakeen Wright to Terrence Holmes. Just like that.
I'm wondering if that one game and no game played by Kingsway's going to have to feel their way into this football game.
Yeah, one of the things that they're going to have to do is see what Glassboro's done. They haven't played them for 9 years now. This is the first time since 1992, since Gary Fultonroy was leading this Kingsway team, that Glassboro has played Kingsway. So this is they're getting their actual first look live at the Bulldogs.
All right, kicking will be, it looks like, Anuko, and holding is Anuko, and Holmes is the kicker. And Holmes puts it up, and it's good.
And not only does he have great speed, but he has a big foot. He is their place kicker, and also will make the extra points, field goals, whatever they need for him to do.
Mike Roberts, who fumbled that punt, has now got to be feeling even worse because he let Holmes get behind him. And again, when you have somebody like Wright in the backfield scrambling around and you're a cornerback or a safety and you're just not sure if he's going to break loose, and you got to come up and play your spot, so it's a guessing game.
Yeah, exactly, and that's one of the things. I mean, Mike Roberts right now is probably feeling awful, saying, "All right, I put my team down 7-0." He shouldn't be thinking like that. When you have a guy like Sakeen right in that backfield, it's almost nearly impossible to stay with your receiver for that long. For that length of period of time, and that's why Wright is such a great quarterback. He's able to buy time for his receivers to get open, make their move, and you're going to find an open receiver if you get 6, 7, 8 seconds long to find an open guy.
And we wanted to mention our officials for tonight. Our referee is Joe Shirk. Our umpire is Jim Genzano. The line judge, Bill Murphy. The field judge, Bob Costello. The back judge is Harry Carr. And our clock operator is Emery Markovic. Doing a nice job up in the booth.
As always,
Holmes will be the kicker. Ball placed at the 40-yard line. Deep for Kingsway is Matty Farrow, number 6, I believe. And it's taken by McMullen, the quarterback, and he comes up to about the 25-yard line, where he's taken down there by number 27 of Glassboro, and that's Greg Peterson.
And what? You see the emotion coming off the field for Glassboro. Kingsway is going to need to establish themselves real soon on offense. They want to try to get a drive together, eat the clock up, try to take as much time off the clock as possible, and punch in a score. Because if Glassboro is able to score early and often, lights out.
Again, McMullen, and now running in a pro backfield, we have Van Morter, and Hill. Long pass overthrown as he stretches out to catch it is Roberts, and he's defended upon there by Holmes. He was the safety on that play.
Yeah, I think we'll say the two of their names quite often tonight. We talked about Terrence Holmes and what kind of receiver he is. On the opposite side, Mike Roberts is really being heavily recruited by a lot of Division I schools. This guy has great speed, soft hands, a really nice kid, knows the game of football. And there you see he was able to beat Holmes, and he had to step on him if the throw was there.
And they give it to Hill, and Hill breaks the tackle, and it's a foot race now between Hill, and he's taken a missed tackle by Robinson, and also by number 99 of Glassboro, Keith Oswald, and a 75-yard run by Tarif Hill puts Kingsway right back on the scoreboard, 7-6.
Well, it didn't take as much time as I was asking for. I thought they needed to establish time off the clock, but if they're able to get a breakout like from Tarif Hill, hey, they'll take it. Got a possibility to tie the score. Tarif Hill, here's a guy who says he's benching over 365 pounds, 5'9", 165. And there you see his ability to break a tackle. He has great leg strength.
Kevin Rydell kicking for Kingsway. And I believe that's McMullen that's holding. Yes, it is. It's down, the kick is up, and it's good. 7-7 with 4:27 to go. If you just tuned in, this is not a tri-county track meet you are watching. This is high school football between two of the fastest teams in this league right now, Kingsway and Glassboro. The two coaches, Bob Cleary and Tony Barchuk, two veteran coaches, playing a cat and mouse game, but right now it is the speed of the players on the field that has taken over. We've had long runs of 75 yards. We've had long runs called back for penalties. We've had long passes with scrambling done by Wright. And Tarif Hill, again, 75 yards. Unofficially, we have that for a touchdown. Now kicking off will be Rydell from his 40-yard line. What a great night for high school football.
A couple of big plays. There's still 4:27 left in the first quarter.
All the renovation done on this Kingsway facility over the summer. This school and its campus looks absolutely fantastic. It's the first time I've seen it since it's actually been finished.
Hopefully we'll get a shot of that later on this evening.
Rydell puts his foot to the ball, and taking it is Holmes. With an over-the-head catch, he comes straight up the middle. And he's taken down at about the 30-yard line by a host of Kingsway defenders. On comes Kingsway defense, and now see if Wright can bring his team back and move back up the field.
As we were talking about earlier in the game, Glassboro's second drive, what they were able to do was put Kingsway back on their heels a little bit. A couple of screen passes early, trying to take advantage of Kingsway's push upfield after Sakeen Wright, and use that for positive yardage with Kevin Evans and Terrence Holmes.
All right, Wright looks to pitch out. It does this time. He gives it to Evans. Evans reverses the field, and he's taken down in the backfield by Mike Roberts. Mike Roberts makes up for possibly one of the mistakes he made earlier by making a nice tackle. That's a way to get it right back in the game.
That's right, and Mike Roberts, you know, I've already said this a couple times tonight, that might have been another touchdown-saving tackle. There was no one back on this left-hand side, and that's what Glassboro does. They have the athletes and the speed to move on each side of the field. Once everyone pushes over to the right, they'll cut it back left and use their speed to try and make big plays happen.
All right, again, Waters and behind as the fullback, along with Evans. Wright looks to pass and does to Muse, and Muse goes knocked out of bounds by Marty Farrow for Kingsway. So Marty Farrow is doing a good job on defense for Kingsway. Looks like it's going to be third down and possibly about 7, maybe 8 yards. Let's call it 7. They've got to get across the 40-yard line to pick up a first down.
Muse goes in with Matanuca. Last year, Glassboro had Terrence Patterson. What Muse gives him is a little bit more size than Patterson. Muse stands at 6'2". Patterson was about 5'9" last year.
And now Wright rolls out. Throws, looking to throw across his body. Still doesn't. Now he rolls back further. He's going to be caught and throws it across the field to Evans. He was rolling back to his right on his back foot. He threw that ball 40 yards in the air across the field, which is almost 50 yards wide.
Yeah, what he does, what he's able to do is, as I said, buys time for his receivers to get open. He was almost able to find Kevin Evans across the field. And there you're saying it. The strength of his arm is just unbelievable. You know, he can be planted on his back foot, throw the ball 70 yards downfield, 60 yards downfield, and then he could throw those soft passes. So he has the capabilities of being a big-time quarterback in college.
Manuco back to punt for Glassboro, and Mike Roberts steps up to receive. He's at about his 38-yard line. Manuco takes the snap, gets the kick away. Roberts, fair catch at the 40-yard line, and Waters was right there for Glassboro to stop any play whatsoever.
It looked like that was McMullen back there to receive that punt, the quarterback. Little change of pace there.
Yes, it was. Correction on that. That was Sean McMullen in there, and he waved off the fair catch. And now he will call the signals, bring the troops out of the huddle. Behind the center, he's got the eye. He's got Van Morter and Hill. Roberts out, split far to the right. Gives it to Hill. Hill goes off one tackle and is knocked down there quickly by Chris Waters. Not Chris Waters. Check that. That was Ralph McBride on a nice stop for Glassboro.
And that's Ralph McBride, is someone who I talked about before the game with Coach Herb Nealio. He said that McBride is a guy who really surprised him. A guy who only stands about 5'8", 5'9". Really impressed him in that Hendrick Hudson game last week. And he's a guy who stands about 155, 160, so he's going to go up against many bigger receivers throughout the course of the year.
Timeout called by Kingsway. Not too sure. They were either running out of time or they weren't sure where they were going with that one. So they call a timeout, and the coaches come out onto the field. 2:32 to go in the first period. 7-7. Two great plays for scoring in this football game so far. Sakeem Wright rolls out and makes a 34-yard pass for a touchdown, and Tarif Hill goes 75 yards for a run for Kingsway. The score is 7-7 here on Comcast. Tarif takes the handoff, and he's knocked out of bounds by Muse along with Holmes after about a 9-yard pickup. So it's going to be third down, and they're marking it down. They're right straight in front of us in the booth, and we're right on the 50-yard line, and it looks like about a long two for a first down in this football game for Kingsway.
I want to make a correction. Earlier I said Darius is Gary's little brother. Gary's cousin. They are related. Of course, Gary Fulton-Roy went on to play at Rutgers. That is Darius, Gary's cousin.
McMullen keeps it himself and goes up between the tackle and the guard and picks up about 3 yards for a first down off the left side. First down.
But I think I could have wanted to criticize Tony Barczyk earlier for not punting the ball when it was 4th and about 7 to pin Glassboro deep. And that was the play that they ended up fumbling on, and Glassboro was able to get the ball. This time, absolutely love the call, going for it, 3rd and 2, a short or a long 2, going with the quarterback sneak, the quick surprise, shortest distance from A to B is straight ahead. Nice call by Tony Barczyk.
Single man in the backfield, and they give an emotion. They give it to number 6 for Kingsway, and he breaks one tackle, and going all the way is Marty Farrell for a touchdown. 49-yard run by Marty Farrell. 49-yard run, and what he did was he came in motion from the right side, and on a quick hut, gave the ball to Farrell as Van Morter, the fullback, just stood in the backfield and did not move and kind of froze the defense, and Van Morter went around the left side and just turned on the Jets, heading upfield 49 yards for a touchdown. 13-7, and Rydell will try and make it 14-7 for Kingsway.
Yeah, it was kind of like an end around. Give the ball in motion to Marty Farrell, and nice speed to turn that corner by Marty Farrell. What was I saying about defense?
14-7 if the kick is good, and it is. With Kingsway taking a 14-7 lead, they trailed 7-0, but came back on 2 big runs. The second by Marty Farrow, a senior, 6 foot, 165 pounds, and very, very quick. Tarif Hill had a 75-yard run for that first touchdown for Kingsway. So Kingsway now with somewhere over about 160, 170 yards on the ground, at least. Between those 2 runs, we're up to about 125.
So you had 96 yards for Hill already, and we only have 141 left still remaining in the first quarter. You see the difference between the 2 teams, Rick. Glassboro makes big plays out of busted plays. They're able to cut back across the grain, make busted plays into touchdowns. Kingsway uses their skill on offense, comes up with a nice end-around play right around the side. Tarif Hill busting a couple tackles through the middle. Both of them big plays. Both of them know how to score and put the points on the board.
All right, Rydell. Kingsway, they make the move to the ball. Rydell kicks deep is Holmes and Evans, taken by Evans at about the 5-6 yard line, goes straight up the middle, and is stood up by a host of Kingsway defenders at about the 30-yard line. We'll call it the 29 possibly, where it will be first down. And Glassboro, who controlled the early part of this first quarter, now finds itself on the short end, 14-7.
Like you were saying, it looked like Kingsway was on their heels a little bit on defense. Comes right around. Now Glassboro has to be thinking, whoa, wait a second here. Where these big, quick strikes come from this Kingsway team? I thought Mr. Tremaine Hill had left this team.
Right. pointing to Evans and Roberts, or Waters rather, telling him where to go. In motion is Anuko for Glassboro. He gives it to Evans. Evans comes upfield and is taken down at about the 42-yard line after he picks up a first down for Glassboro. Nice pass by Wright. I think he saw that the whole time, which is why he turned around and pointed to Evans where to go.
Well, they're using that screen very effectively. The little dump-off pass to the running back or Terrence Holmes, just little screen-type play to both players. And they're picking up positive yards. They're about 13 yards on that play. Evans at the end of that run, and this is what I love to see from running backs, push ahead in that last 2 or 3 yards and pick up them extra yards. Evans there running with a little bit of mean streak in him.
Holmes and Muse are split out wide, and we got, again, Waters and Evans in the backfield. He gives it to Evans this time. He goes off the right side, and maybe a gain of about 1 yard for the Bulldogs as they try to get across the 50 and get back in this football game as they took an early 7-0 lead and now trail 14-7. Someone told me before the game they didn't expect a high-scoring affair. You know who that was?
I think it might have been myself. I thought this game would be about 14-7, possibly late in the third quarter, early fourth quarter. We're not even finished the first quarter yet.
Clock counting down. We got about 24 seconds to go in the first period as Wright, behind center, in motion is Anuko. Wright rolls out to his left, looks across and throws to Anuko, who was in motion, and he's knocked out of bounds by Mike Roberts at about the 26-yard line for a first down and a pickup of about 35 yards on that pass play. Nice pass and that was a great timing pattern. That's something that only coaches can teach kids how to do, and that is to trust your arm, and the receiver's got to trust the quarterback that the ball's going to be there.
And you seen there, he caught Roberts looking a little bit. Roberts was maybe thinking, let's see if they're going to run that screen play again. Use that screen play to set up the big play. Nice touch pass. We've seen the arm strength from Sakine. There you see the touch.
All right, Muse and Holmes again split out. Wright directing Holmes up to the line of scrimmage. In motion comes Muse. That's the play he went to Anuko on. Let's see if he looks to Muse. He doesn't. He's looking for Evans. Can't find him. Goes between some defenders. Runs into his own man, and he's brought down for a loss of about 6 yards. And you're going to have that with Wright. As many gray hairs as he's going to give you, he's going to give you as much elation when he makes those plays. So live with the sword, die by the sword, so to say.
You are exactly right. You are going to have the sacks. Every once in a while, the play is not going to develop. It's not going to turn a buster play into touchdown every time. So you're going to have that.
All right, we've got a timeout on the field with the score. Kingsway 14, Glassboro 7 here on Comcast. All right, we're back in the first after the first quarter. We're just starting the second period, and we just got you back in time to see that nice little screen pass to Waters, and he picks up about 2 yards, or maybe about 6 yards rather, for a 3rd down and 8 now for Glassboro.
3rd down and 8, and looks like they spot the ball.
I'm sorry, 3rd down and 12.
3rd down, we'll call it 3rd down. 3rd down and 8.
3rd down and 8, you're right.
We'll call it 3rd down and 8. And it looks like it's about at the 24-yard line. That screen has worked tremendously well for Glassboro. Let's see if they go back to it here or try to use that to set something else up.
All right, Wright rolls out to his left, comes back the other way. He almost runs into the official. He's got all black shirts to go by. Nobody looks way downfield, and he finds Holmes. Intercepted by Mike Roberts. Mike Roberts atones for giving up a touchdown by pulling in an interception at the 2-yard line. They were looking for that same play.
I'll tell you what, and you know what? You bring Wright to the sideline, forget about it. What you did is you put them back at the 2-yard line. It would have been a 4th down if you did not complete the pass. Now you get your defense back on the field. Now I know Kingsway's put up 2 quick scores on them in their last 2 possessions. But when you have that end zone behind you, it's very intimidating to an offense. So that's as good as a punt there.
It might be better than a punt because if it went into the end zone, they're going to bring it out to the 20-yard line.
That's right. So it's not, you might say, okay, it's an interception, but it might not hurt you here. It could help you.
Let's see if they stay conservative to try and get out of the hole they're in. No, they're going to pass right out of the gate. And Roberts is overthrown by McMullen. Talk about crossing up the defense there, thinking they're going to try and just push the ball up to crawl out of that hole a little bit.
You got to love this game. I mean, here you go. Kingsway, Glassboro, you have two powerhouses right off of the bat on Comcast Channel 43, and they're coming out passing at the 2-yard line, going for the bomb from Mike Roberts. Mike Roberts has the speed, and we've seen it already twice now, that he's been able to get behind that Glassboro secondary, which also possesses a tremendous amount of speed.
All right, deep in their own territory at their 2-yard line, 2nd down and 10, McMullen with Hill in the backfield. And McMullen keeps it himself, and he's going to get up to about the 5, maybe the 6-yard line, pick up about 4 yards. And it's going to be 3rd down and probably about 6, maybe 5. We'll call it 6.
A nice call there. You want to get, if you're going to have to punt, you don't want your punter at the back of that end zone, especially with Glassboro coming off the football. You know, something might happen there. So you give your punter a little bit of room. That sets up your next play. Now you go for the 1st down. See if you can try to move the chains a little bit. But a nice call there. Try and get the ball out of the shadow.
Tony Barchuk was screaming for a timeout, and he got it from his players. And he's out on the field now, or one of the people coming out, one of the coaches coming out. 10-25, 14-7, Glassboro and Kingsway. Both teams undefeated, or not undefeated last year, but division champions last year. Glassboro goes 12-0, wins the South Jersey Group 1. They win the Classic Division. Kingsway wins the Royal Division. They lose in the Group 2 semis in a tough loss to Hamilton. So again, both teams, they did lose some players, but they had a great nucleus coming back. And that's exactly what we expected tonight. What a way to kick off the Tri-County on Comcast for two Tri-County teams with a game like this tonight. This is just fantastic.
As you see the crowd there, and a nice crowd here tonight at Kingsway Regional Memorial Field. And this is Sean Leary, joined by Rick Guidos. And Rick, this is our first time together.
All right, McMullen.
We're seeing a good one.
3rd down and 6. Gives off to Hill. Hill looking to gets a 1st down, and he's driven out of bounds after a gain of maybe about 3. Nowhere to go. All yellow and white uniforms in front of him, and it's going to be 4th down and about 3. And Kingsway will have to punt, and we'll back to receive will be Evans and Holmes for Glassboro. And Rydell, who's the kicker, will also do the punting for Kingsway. He's standing 2 yards deep in his own end zone. Calls for the ball, gets it off, gets it away, a little bit of a spiral, takes a nice bounce for Kingsway. Holmes scoops it up on one bounce and is taken down after a gain of about 6 yards. So we got a net of about 15 yards or maybe 20 yards on that play as Holmes brought it back to about the 35-yard line, almost the 30-yard line.
That's one of the things last year haunted Glassboro was the punting game. One of the few things that they had trouble with last year was their ability to get the punts off. So far, the kicking game has not come into play. The special teams has not come into play for both sides, except for on the Mike Roberts dropped punt return that set up.
All right, Waters,
first score.
Waters and Evans in an eye, as they've been all night, behind right, and he gives it to Evans, who breaks a couple of tackles and speeds out to the right side, driven out of bounds, strong by Marty Farrow. So number 6 tackle, number 6 as they go out of bounds. And he gets up to about the 22-yard line. Let's see where they mark it at. It's going to be 1st down. Now they give him a gain of 10 yards on that. The officials move the chains. 9:25 and running in the 2nd quarter here at Kingsway High School. 14-7. Kingsway in the lead, but they are on their heels on defense right now as Glassboro has moved the ball up to the 20-yard line. Right. Takes the snap. Gives off to a new runner for Glassboro, and that's Ralph McBride. As Evans came out of the game after that, and McBride takes it up to about the 5-yard gain. We'll call it maybe 6. It's going to be 2nd down and 4. In the game now for Glassboro as Rasheem Gaines comes in. He's a 5'10 junior, also a running back.
Well, check to find out if Evans is all right. He is on the sideline right now, and it looks like McBride's still out there.
McBride and Gaines. So Gaines is the fullback. McBride is the halfback right now with Holmes and Anuko split out. He pitches out to McBride. What a nice block. McBride breaks one tackle, gets down to about the 3-yard line as he's tackled there by Kingsway. Looks like Chuck Ellis made the stop.
And McBride, wide open hole. I think it might even have surprised him. Wide open, and it looked like there was only daylight separating him from the end zone, but somebody was able to trip him up there, and McBride stopped short from giving Glassboro the chance to even up the score.
Glassboro team bus could have driven through that hole.
Yeah, they sure could have.
All right. It's now first down on the 2-yard line. Right, gives it to Gaines. Gaines breaks a tackle, gets inside for a touchdown, going over the right side between the tackle and the guard. It's a touchdown, 14-13. Kevin Evans for that touchdown.
I guess Kevin Evans is all right. And there again, Glassboro opening up the holes, and Kevin Evans, McBride taking advantage of cutting back, both of them with the ability to cut back and take a look and see what the defense has given them. There, Evans cuts back up, and the way he is, and this is one thing that I like from Kevin Evans, is he finishes off the play. He goes in, head first, shoulders down, and he gets those few extra yards, and particularly around the goal line, that's what you want to have. A running back that sniffs that end zone and wants to get in.
Holmes is going to kick. We're going to check and see if that was Evans or Gaines that scored that touchdown. Evans is in there now, but it looked like Gaines was in the backfield at that time, and we'll check downstairs and see if we could see who actually scored that touchdown for you. I believe it was Gaines, but we will find out and let you know. 14-14, 7:53 to go. Tony Barchuk talking to the troops on the sideline. Bob Cleary brings his boys over, and they will kick off. Holmes will more than likely be doing the kicking as he has been for Glassboro. 14-14.
So Glassboro marches methodically down the field.
And again,
a couple of nice runs by Evans and McBride.
Okay, we will have, looks like Holmes, he'll be doing the kicking from about the 40-yard line. Back deep will be for Kingsway. Looks like Darius Fauntleroy and Roberts and McMullen are the two up men, up about 10 yards in front of Fauntleroy, who's standing at about the 5-yard line, giving a lot of respect to Holmes' foot.
We talk about Holmes' ability to catch the football, but he has a strong leg. He hasn't just put those 2 extra points up, he's really booted them through.
Wow, that's back to the goal line, and Fauntleroy brings it out. I think Roberts might have wanted him to stay, but he brings it out and cuts back across the grain, and we got a fumble. Glassboro picks it up. No, they don't. They're going to try, and they fall on it. McBride maybe with a recovery. We had a scramble for the hot potato as Glassboro picked it up. So 2 plays on kicking may have cost Kingsway some points here, but we'll find out if their defense can hold the ground. The ball was knocked loose as Fauntleroy was coming back across.
And usually early on in games, Tri-County Conference, Colonia, it doesn't matter which conference, usually you see special teams coming into play during the early part of the season. I expected to see a couple of big plays on special teams so far with the Mike Roberts fumble. Now Darius Fauntleroy with the decision to come out. It might cost his team. Kingsway again in the shadow of their own end zone.
All right, Evans is back in the game now. He's behind Waters. In motion is Holmes. Right, takes the snap, looks to the left, and he's looking for Holmes. And it's nearly picked off by number 8 for Kingsway, Darius Fauntleroy. And he had a beat on Holmes the whole time, Fauntleroy did. He knew the ball was coming there.
Oh, yeah, you could just see Darius Fauntleroy's eyes lighting up on that field. He just made the big mistake. He's got to be saying, oh, gosh, let me just grab this and return it for a touchdown. Almost able to come up with a play. But there you again, Terrence Holmes coming out for that fade pattern. Nice touch pass, really no play for the safety to come over and make it because Wright put it exactly where he needed to.
Okay, Glassboro now with the ball, 2nd down and 10 from their 20-yard line, or their 10-yard line rather. Wright takes a snap, pitch out to Evans. He's got Waters blocking for him, and he gains maybe about 3 yards. It's going to be 3rd down and about 7. Brought down there nicely by Mike Roberts.
Yeah, Mike Roberts, even though he made the mistake, he's really having a heck of a game so far. Getting really behind both Terrence Holmes and McBride on pass patterns, and also playing well defensively. Able to come up with the interception beforehand, now comes up with a nice tackle on Evans to bring up a tough 3rd down now for Glassboro.
All right, 3rd down. If they don't make it, I think with Holmes' leg, I think they can go for a field goal here, no doubt about it. We'll see what happens in the backfield. Waters doesn't give to Waters. He keeps it himself. Wright does, looking for some tackles to break. And he's knocked out of bounds by about 5 Kingsway defenders, led by number 22 for Kingsway, and that's Sly Van Morter, their fullback, who plays a great defense also. So it's going to be 4th down, and let's see if they're going to go for it or if Holmes is going to try and kick.
It looks like Bob Cleary's coming out on the field. They're going to probably call a timeout and talk this over.
They sure will, and that kick by Holmes went 61 yards in the air. Fauntleroy caught that ball 1 yard deep in the end zone, and you don't want to second guess a high school player, but I mean, he should have taken a knee there, but I guess caught up in the momentum. Glassboro, Kingsway, been talked about all week. Kids are caught up in it too.
Let's see what you have there is you have 2 guys looking up for the football. Both of them want to catch the football. They're not exactly sure where their feet are, especially in high school. It's a hard thing for a player to really develop and really think and learn. What you have to have there is Mike Roberts screaming at him. Stay in the end zone. You're in the end zone. Somebody's got to call it, just like in a pop fly in baseball. Somebody's got to call it. I got it. I got it. The other guys immediately got to look down, see where the football is, see where the person's feet are. So you're in the end zone, stay there, and you got to be basically holding them back. A little bit of miscommunication. Both players trying to go for the football there. It ends up costing them. It didn't cause the fumble, but it's a play where they probably should have took a knee. But then again, we're up here. We're at a bad angle. Maybe he wasn't out of the end zone, or maybe he was.
All right. Wright comes up behind his center. He's got Evans and Waters behind him. 2 wideouts to the left. He's looking for Holmes wide open in the corner of the end zone. Diving catch, no, ruled incomplete by the officials. What a nice call by Bob Cleary. Great call.
Nice call by Bob Cleary. Finds Holmes. He was open on the play. Looked like Wright maybe pulled the string a little bit too much on that play. A little bit tense. 4th down, big gain. Overthrew his receiver just a tad bit, but he had Holmes wide open in the corner of the end zone.
He sure did. And so now Kingsway will take over.
We talked
again deep in their territory.
We talked about Holmes, his ability to kick a field goal. But this, they're at the 4th. They're now at the looks like about the 3-yard line. So it's not going to hurt him that much.
McMullen keeps it himself, breaks a tackle, and he's driven out of bounds. And a flag thrown as Glassboro's Shamir Robinson definitely had McMullen out of bounds and got just a little bit exuberant on that tackle. And that's more than likely going to be a 15-yard penalty from the spot, and it went out of bounds at about the 11, so that should bring it up where somewhere near the 25 or 26-yard line.
Shamar Robinson, number 3, a junior, and you got to like the senior Greg Keith coming up and saying, yo, what are you doing? You just cost us another 15 yards. We had him backed up. Don't be making mistakes like that as a junior. You got to think as a junior. You got to make sure that you're not going to cause us 15 yards and we have somebody backed up and pushed up against our own end zone.
Okay. Roberts split out on the right side, and Farrell comes. Dan Wyckoff is the tight end. We've got McMullen with the eye backfield as he's had all night. He gives it to Hill, and Hill breaks the tackle, and Hill could go all the way. And he falls down trying to break the tackle of Holmes, and at about the 39-yard line. What a play. 39-yard line. Falls down. He tried to reverse his field, and Holmes was making a cut, had an angle on him and to tackle him.
One thing that's working well for Kingsway now is them quick hitters through the middle. Tarif Hill, he has that explosive power, that quick step to get right to the hole quickly and make something happen. He's reading the defense well and trying to cut outside once he gets through that line.
36-yard gain by Kingsway's Tarif Hill on that
puts
play.
him well over 100.
Okay. And they give it to Farrell, who went in motion. That's the play they scored a touchdown on. And this time, Robinson just kind of holds on as they go out of bounds. Didn't want another penalty there.
I didn't think he wanted Greg Keith getting in his face again either.
All right.
A smart play by the junior, just to let him go. He's out of bounds. Let's go for the next play.
And also, when you're in front of all those black jerseys, not a smart thing to do is to maybe have a little bit of roughness on the opposing team. Second down, and about 5 yards to go. McMullen looks left. They're set. What a nice defensive play as he goes to give off. Number 99 for Glassboro, Keith Oswald, he almost gave the handoff to the fullback coming through there.
Yeah, nice job by Oswald to come in and disrupt the play. We've seen that now twice from him coming in, and he's getting a giant step off the ball and getting through to disrupt the plays of the Kingsway offense.
That looked like a Mike Singletary play right there. That was big time. All right, McMullen, and we've got a stoppage of the clock, and we've got a flag in the thrown by the back judge, I believe, against Glassboro.
I think they're going to call. I think they're calling too many men on the field. Too many men on the field. There was 12 trying to stop them any way possible. If they want to bring another guy out, that's what they're going to try and do. Weren't able to get away with it, though, and that's going to cost them 5 yards. Going to bring up now 3rd and 1.
Yes, it will be 3rd and 1. McMullen keeps it himself after faking the handoff to Van Morter. And, you know, he had the first down, then he cut back. Let's see if they still have it. He had to get to about the 29 and a half, maybe 28 and a half yard line. Yeah, it's 4th down.
It's going to be very close. I think it is going to be 4th down. Excellent point. It looked like he might have had the first down. Big 4th down coming up here. 4th
down and the length of the football. Big play for Kingsway. McMullen keeps it himself, gets the first down and a few more, about 7 or 8 yards. And with 4:38 to go in the second period, Kingsway and Glassboro all tied up at 14-14 here on Comcast. We had a timeout called by Glassboro, and you're back with us now with Kingsway. Tarif Hill picked up about 18 yards on that play. He's down to about the 7-yard line. When we were at commercial break, they came back quickly from that, the teams did, and gave it to Hill, and now Glassboro called a timeout with 4:08 to go, and Kingsway knocking on the door.
They sure are. And you know what, right now, because I love to talk about the offensive linemen and the defensive linemen, a lot of times they don't get their names mentioned. Right now, Lou Napoleon, Tom Sweeney, and Eric Morrow are doing an outstanding job, along with Jim Riley and Chuck Ellis, so that Kingsway offensive line up front. They're really handling the Glassboro interior defense, giving Hill the opportunity to get through that defensive line and then try to make something happen by cutting across or going straight ahead. He's making good decisions as Hill. He's well over 100 yards. He's possibly near 150 yards. We'll try and tally that up for you with 4 minutes and 8 seconds left here in the half, and we'll get his halftime numbers, but they're going to be at least close to 150 by the end of this drive.
Hill and Van Morter split, and they give it to Van Morter, who goes down to about the 1-yard line as he's brought down there by big number 73 for Glassboro, and that is Ed Bugard.
Yeah, and Sly Van Morter, a guy who they really liked coming into this year, who has the experience, trying to help young Tarif Hill along. Tarif Hill, the brother of Tremaine Hill, graduated, went on to Rowan this year. And they don't seem like they've lost much of a step with Tremaine gone, because Tarif Hill's really picked up the slack.
McMullen takes the snap, keeps it himself, and is driven straight back, does not score a touchdown. He tried to go right between the center and the guard and did not make it, is driven backwards. by a couple of Glassboro players. It looked like Bugard and also Isaac Chapman with nice stops there.
Still love the call. Still love the call. You have the quarterback there. Don't try to make anything fancy happen there. We still got third down is what they got to be thinking, and we still have the same distance. Now, we still have the same option. We can have McMullen. The interior line has been doing it all game long. Let's go for it again.
McMullen keeps it, and they say he scored this time, and they did. It's a quick signal from the official on the left side, but the second surge got McMullen in for a 20-14 Kingsway lead with 2:57 to go. And Tarif Hill, who's been doing a host of running, gets him down there, and McMullen with 1, 2, 3 attempts, and finally gets it in for the touchdown.
Finally punches it in there behind big number 52, Tom Sweeney, comes in at 234 pounds. Also with Lou Napoleon at 187 and 186, Eric Morrow. So there's some big guys up there, up front, pushing their way and giving Kingsway the lead.
Rydell's kick is up and good, and it's 21-14. Tarif Hill, the leader on offense so far in the game for Kingsway. You've heard of high school people running for 150 to 200 yards in a game. How about in a first half?
Amazing half for young Tarif Hill. You know, a lot of people are telling me some really good things about this guy. And you look at Tremaine, his older brother, who was a slasher. Tremaine was fast. Tarif Hill's, even though he's the younger brother, he's maybe a little bit stronger, a bigger kid. He says he's benching 365 pounds. Regardless, this kid's upper body and lower body, a very nice physical specimen, has a lot of muscle in his body, and you combine that with speed, and that can be crippling to a defense, and that's what we're seeing so far here with this young Glassboro team.
We better watch what we say. He could bench press us.
He probably could. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
I think we're about that.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Combine.
That's what I meant. That's what I mean.
All right.
I'll take it.
All right, here we go. Rydell. Ball spotted at about the 40. Back deep is Holmes and Evans, as they've been all night. The up men are Gaines and McBride, I believe, for Glassboro. They're the two up people at about the 25-yard line. Referees whistle the ball in play. Rydell comes to the ball, puts his foot to it, and we got a short kick taken by Gaines, drops it, picks it up, and he's spinning around and tries, and he laterals to Holmes, and Holmes picks up about 5 yards. Those couple of hairs that Bob Cleary that weren't gray, they're now gray.
Yeah, he's over there. He's got his hand on his chin wondering, what just happened there? Why are we throwing the ball around when we're getting tackled? And I'm sure he's going to have a word with Mr. Gaines when he's coming to the sideline. If I was Mr. Gaines, I'd be walking a different route than right next to Bob Cleary.
2:49 to go in the first half of this Tri-County matchup between the two division winners of 1999, Glassboro and Kingsway, and it's everything it was billed to be all week long. Wright turns around, calls signals to Waters and Evans. Takes the snap, pitches out to Evans. Nice block thrown by Waters as Evans go down at about the 35-yard line, or about the 30-yard line. So a gain of about 4 yards.
For the most part, the Kingsway defense has been able to keep Kevin Evans in check. A couple of nice plays by Evans. Of course, the long run that he had on a pass play, a screen that was set up, where he crossed the field, and eventually the play was called back because of a penalty. That's been the only big play from Kevin Evans, except for a couple of nice plays where he scored a touchdown and was able to put his head down and get a couple extra yards in some other plays.
Pitch out again, right to Evans, this time to the left side. And he's hand tackled there by Wyckoff. Nice tackle by Dan Wyckoff, who is their tight end and also plays outside linebacker, and makes a nice play there to bring him down for a gain of only about 3 yards. So it's going to be 3rd down and 2. Big play for Glassboro right now.
Big play with 1:45 left. And I'm sure they're going to either set up one of those screen plays or let Sakeen Wright using his intuitiveness and make a big play out of a busted play. Let's see what happens.
Wright looks back to pass, looking for Holmes, or rather Anuko finds him. And he's taken down and kept in bounds. The clock's still, no, they're going to stop it now. The official was motioning if he was stopping the clock. And number 8 for Glassboro, Matt Anuko with the catch. And the clock is stopped.
Clock is stopped to set the chains.
There we go.
But Matt Anuko there, a nice play, wide open on the outside. Little 10 and out. Nice touch by Sakeen.
Sakeen drops back straight. Now comes out of the pocket. He's running. Missed by Wyckoff. He's going to go out of bounds and stop the clock at about the 49-yard line, a pickup of about 4 yards. Wyckoff tried to make a tackle on him with one hand, and you're not going to do that with Sakeen Wright.
Nah, Sakeen Wright, I mean, he's not only does he have the arm, but he has the ability to break tackles. He's a linebacker in a quarterback's position right now. I mean, he has the ability to break tackles, to make big runs, and get those extra yards if he puts his head down. But a really nice decision there just to get out of bounds and stop the clock with 1:06 left. Glassboro has plenty of time to march the ball downfield.
Absolutely. With Wright and Evans, they have plenty of time for these young men to score a touchdown. Holmes is back, set up in a slot. Fake. Straight back in the pocket is Wright. He's looking for Holmes and doesn't find him. Back was Rydell on defense. No catch made. And it's going to be 2nd down and 6 now. Or 3rd down and 6, correction. 3rd down and 6 for Glassboro from midfield. And with this much time on the clock, is this a 2-down situation, Sean, or they're going to have to punt if they don't get a first down here?
I believe that they could go for it. And the reason being is, even though we've been able to see Tarif Hill break one, I don't believe that McMullen has the ability to march downfield, even though Roberts is on the outside, not like the ability of Glassboro. So I would give it a shot here.
Okay. Right, straight back in the pocket again. Nice screen pass to Evans. Evans goes between the defenders. He breaks one tackle. He could go all the way. Roberts trying to drive him out of bounds. And Mike Roberts with a nice tackle at about the 4-yard line. Great call on offense by Glassboro. Little screen pass right over the middle to Evans. And Mike Roberts drives him out of bounds at about the 3-yard line. And so with 50 seconds to go, Kingsway may get the ball back.
Kingsway may get the ball back. Forget about that 4th down play. They said, let's run that screen and pick up about 45 yards. But, you know, I'm impressed with how Kevin Evans is able to break through. But how about Mike Roberts coming across the field to make the tackle? Mike Roberts might be the fastest kid on this field today.
Just maybe. So it's 1st down and goal. We're going to call it from the 4-yard line. Sakeem Wright behind center. Looks to pass. Now rolls to his left. Nobody, but he finds Holmes wide open, overthrows him. Or was that Anuko? And incomplete.
Here we're going to take a look at the replay. Kevin Evans Kevin Evans screen pass, and they're able to set this up, and you're going to see the lineman go downfield. Evans coming across the middle, able to go right down the field as his blockers are setting up. Cuts outside, but how about the speed of Mike Roberts to come over and throw him out of bounds and save that touchdown. We'll see if that holds up, if that play is going to come back to be a big play and prohibit Glassboro from getting on the scoreboard again.
2nd and 4. Wright looks to keep it himself, rolls out left. Nobody there. One man to beat. He's going to have some Kingsway people to get around, and he gets in. He sneaks around Roberts and number 8 for Kingsway, Darius Fauntleroy. 2 quick people and tiptoes into the corner of the end zone by the pylon for a 21-20 score. And with Holmes' foot, it looks like Glassboro is going to tie this football game up with 36 seconds to go. And I'll tell you what, with some kind of a return and with the way Hill's running the football, Kingsway may get down the field again.
They could. 36 seconds isn't safe for any defense tonight. Nice job by Sakeen right there. That was the designed rollout play. What he does, fakes the pass and then walks in the end zone himself.
The kick is good. Wow. Just barely. It was a squibber that went sideways and just got over the goalpost. And it was good. 21-21, 36 seconds to go in the first half. Rick Gadosh here along with Sean Leary on Comcast. And we have a high school football game for the season so far.
Wow, this is tremendous. And these teams, as we were talking about, haven't faced each other since 1992. Tony Barchuk, what a win. If he can pull a win off here, what a win it would be for him. He has never beaten Glassboro. So he comes into this game kind of hyped up, getting his kids hyped up. You know, you look at both of these teams, they lost some quality people. One of the quality persons on Kingsway, they didn't expect to lose this year, and that was Derek Robinson. They expected to have this young man back. He transferred and is now playing on Friday night for Woodbury. Here's the touchdown. Sakeen Wright faking the pass and rolling out, and you're going to see him put a little move here. Steps left and into the end zone. To some quick feet by Sakeen Wright, using him to his advantage and scoring the touchdown. But a guy like Derek Robinson, who was a defensive end,
Left
it's a big loss for Kingsway.
Left-footed kicker Holmes kicks the ball. It's taken by Roberts at about the 10-yard line, maybe the 9. Straight up the field, almost breaks it, but is driven back by number 3 for Glassboro, Shamir Robinson, and knocked down at about the 30-yard line, maybe the 32, and 30 seconds to go.
Plenty of time.
What do you do, Coach?
Well, with 31 seconds, I'm handing the ball off to Reef Hill because he's the one that's put 150 yards up. He's broken up a couple of nice plays. Hey, if that's put you in this ball game and giving you 21 points, go back to it. As I said, McMullen, he's improved. And you might see him put the ball up a couple times here, especially to Mike Roberts on that outside. But I'd give the ball to Hill and see what he can do first off with a couple plays.
They give it this time to Hill, who was in motion. Hill was set up in a slot. They had Van Morter in the backfield, was single back, and they had double tight ends and a couple of wide receivers in a slot. It was very interesting what happened there.
Yeah, very interesting, as a matter of fact, because they used that same play, I think, to score the touchdown with Farrow. This time, they do something very similar, same type of formation, and they use Tarif Hill. They're
going to let the clock run out. They are not going to try and run another play. So with 0-0-0 on the clock at the end of the first half, it is Kingsway 21, Glassboro 21 here on Comcast. We had our opening kickoff to start the second half, Holmes, and it was taken by Van Morter, I believe, and Van Morter brings it back up the near side of the field to about the 20-yard line, where it will be first down and 10 for Kingsway, as both teams took a lot of deep breaths at halftime and try and get their air back because they're going to need it, particularly people like Hill, McMullen, Evans, Wright,
you could keep
Holmes.
naming them.
All right.
And if you just joined us at halftime, you've already missed a great first half. Hopefully the second half will be equal.
And you'll be able to see this game again next week if you missed the first half. All right. Taking the ball for Kingsway is Van Morter, and he picks up about 4 yards to start. Sean, you got some stats for us there in the first half?
Yeah, and you look at the first half, and Tarif Hill, 10 rushes for 143 yards, a couple of big plays, including the 75-yard touchdown run. Sakeen Wright, 10 for 15 for 186. Terrence Holmes, 3 for 58, 3 catches for 58 yards. Kevin Evans on the running back for Glassboro, 9 for 27, 3 catches, 63 yards.
All right, McMullen now with Van Morter and Hill. He gives to Van Morter. Van Morter goes nowhere as he's hit up inside by Isaac Chapman, by Ed Bugard. Just stood right up there, and also big number 66 for Glassboro, and that is Greg Keith.
It's going to be interesting to see how Greg Keith, Ed Bugard attacks that middle of the Kingsway offense. What Kingsway was able to do in the first half was get those quick hitters with Tarif Hill and get them for much positive yardage. 143 yards, as we've already said. Big half for Hill.
McMullen now, and again, in motion goes Hill. He gives it to Hill, and Hill crawls forward after he's hit initially by Keith Oswald, but gains about 3 more yards, so it's going to be 4th down and 5 for Kingsway. So Glassboro with a nice stop initially in this third quarter.
And Kingsway came out trying to do the same thing that they did early in the game, establish the inside run. Glassboro up to the task. I'm sure they went into halftime chewed out a little bit on that Glassboro defensive interior, saying you guys have to step up, and they did so far the first possession of the second.
Rydell with an end-over-end punt that bounces at midfield and almost touches one of the Glassboro players, but it's down right there at about the 42-yard line. And number 8 of Glassboro, Matanuka, was so intent on blocking that he wasn't watching the ball and almost got touched.
You see that a lot in high school football as opposed to college and pros. You have punters who punt the ball 45, 50 yards in the air. High school football a little different, 30 yards, and then it dribbles on the ground. So while you're blocking, you have to pay attention and turn around to make sure the ball's not going to hit you.
Glassboro now with their initial series to start for them in the third quarter. And again, behind the center of Glassboro comes Sakeem Wright. Waters, Evans. Pitch out to Evans to the left. Cuts back to the inside and gains maybe about 3 yards, maybe 2. It's going to be 2nd down and 8 for Evans. And how important is this third quarter in this game, Sean?
Well, I think it's important for a couple of different things. One of the things that if you have to look for Glassboro, something they have to do is shut down the interior of the defense. So far in the first possession, they're able to do that. Now on the offensive side of the ball, Glassboro has already been able to get the busted plays open for big yardage. One thing they have to do is establish the running game with Kevin Evans. He hasn't really been able to get on track. He had the one big pass play, but that's something that they're going to have to really improve in the second half is the running game. It looks like Chuck Ellis down again on the field for Kingsway.
And we had a 5-yard penalty on that play for Glassboro, against Glassboro. Might have been a motion penalty. We didn't catch that. It was given real quickly, and see where it's marked from. And a holding penalty, 10 yards. So it goes back to the 30-yard line where it's going to be now 2nd down, or rather 1st down again, and about 12 yards maybe or so, because again, it comes from the spot, not from the line of scrimmage. So again, they're going to be 1st down in about, let's say, 22 for a 1st down.
Chuck Ellis able to walk off the field on his own. It's a good sign for Kingsway.
We got double wide receivers on the right side. It's Muse and Anuko with Waters and Evans behind him, behind Wright. He passes inside to Holmes. Holmes takes it up to about almost back to the original line of scrimmage for about a 10 or 12-yard gain.
Nice job by Holmes. That's his 4th catch of the day. There was a really nice block there by Jason Muse. We talked about him earlier. There's a guy who really didn't get a lot of playing time last year. The 6'2" wide receiver throwing a block on the outside trying to spring Holmes. It looked like one of them screen passes that assembles from the outside, not one that starts off on the inside with a back. Something that starts off with the outside and they work their way in the middle of the field. Wasn't able to develop, but still, Terrence Holmes, with his athletic ability, able to pick up 11 yards.
Holmes and Anuko in the slot with Waters and Evans. Straight back to pass is Wright, looking all directions, can't find anybody, looking downfield, and he is succumbed to a host of Kingsway, right near the Kingsway bench, and they are fired up now. They drop him for about a 6-yard loss. He had nowhere to go with that.
And Kingsway's got to credit Marty Farrow, cornerback, with making that play. Marty Farrow, who's a senior this year at cornerback, 6 foot, able to stay home with Holmes. No pun intended there, but able to stick with him and make sure that Sakeem Wright didn't make that busted play in a big play. Stayed with his man. That's one of the things, if you look on the other side of the ball, Kingsway has to do. Stay with your wide receivers. Don't give up the big play. Try and stay with him, even though Sakeem might get 8-9 seconds back in that pocket.
They labeled that a coverage sack at that point. He had nowhere to go. Good coverage by Marty Farrell. All right, Waters and Evans, and we got somebody jumping on the ball. It looked like it might have been the tight end for Glassboro, number 44, Rashawn Pruitt. He might have jumped. A motion penalty, so it's going to be now 3rd down and 19. So a lot of mistakes being made here early on by Glassboro in this third quarter. Not the way Coach Bob Cleary wanted to start.
No, not the way he wanted to start. Now with 3rd down and 19 here, you got to expect Kingsway's going to be looking down the sidelines, looking for Holmes. Something would be nice here is you might want to find the tight end or somebody coming across the middle of the field. You expect that play, maybe they'll have that they might have that open. With 3rd and 19, it's going to have to be a big play call.
Again, that is not a lot of yardage to pick up the way Glassboro's also been moving the ball. Right, rolls out to his right. He's got a defender looking. He throws it all the way downfield, about 40 yards in the air. It's Muse. He catches the ball, comes back to it at about the 20, and he's brought down by a defender. And that was Darius Fauntleroy, who misjudged the defense on that.
Yeah, Darius Fauntleroy misjudged the defense. Jason Muse had about 10 yards behind the cornerbacks, wide open down the left-hand side. Skeen Wright just had to throw the ball up. It was almost Jason Muse had to wait for the ball to come to him, but he was so far beyond the secondary that it was really just an easy catch for him.
50 yards in the air. They gained another 55 yards on that play. A pass by to Muse. So first down for Glassboro at the 20-yard line. Waters and Evans in motion is Anuko for Matanuko. Wright looks towards him, doesn't find anybody. Waters looking to block, and he passes to Evans, but throws it over his head on the left side, and incomplete is the pass, where it will be 2nd and 10 now.
And nice job again by the secondary to coverage with the coverage, and they had that lapse right there with Jason Muse. But how about Jason Muse? If Glassboro is able to get another wide receiver along with Terrence Holmes, watch out, their offense could be even more powerful this year than it was last year, and that's very scary. And then if you bring Matanuko in, watch out.
Not to go on record here, but I wouldn't be afraid to say that maybe the team that wins this game wins the rest of their games.
Could be.
That could be. We're going to have a timeout called by Glassboro. It's 6:42 to go in the 3rd quarter, and the score 21-21 here on Comcast. Back out of the timeout now. Sakeem Wright behind center. Couple of fakes. And he's leg tackled one hand by Mike Roberts. Mr. Roberts.
Yeah, Mike Roberts came to play today. Not only being able to get behind the secondary, as we've seen earlier, make a couple catches, but playing very well on defense.
That was a movie. Mr. Roberts with Henry Fonda, I believe.
Henry Fonda.
Absolutely.
I think I missed that one.
You missed that one. That was way before my time. I think I watched that one when I was just, somebody else was holding me on their lap or something. But Mr. Roberts was the key there, and he was the tackle.
Mr. Roberts is putting on his own show in the defense today. Kingsway defense playing about as well as they could play, because they're not giving in to the big play unless Glassboro makes something happen on a busted play.
Matanuko in the game as Wright is having some cramps attended to on the side. Anuko looking to pass and throws it down the middle, or on the side rather, and he finds wide open one of his receivers, and that looks to be Charlie Waters, and it is, and a nice hit by Sean McMullen, and also Darius Fauntleroy make the stop after a gain of about, let's say about 10 yards, and it's now going to be 4th down and about 7 for a first down. And Anuko's going to stay in the game, I believe. But he's going to stay in the game, but
Sakeem Wright is now back in the game.
Wright will be in as quarterback, right.
Big 4th down play here.
Here we go. We got double wide receivers on this side. Wright looks to pass. He throws it to Evans. Evans looking to gain a first down. He might get a touchdown, and he does. Goes around 3 defenders. Rydell and Mortar McMullen. He just turned on the Jets with about 5 yards to go to put Glassboro ahead 27-21 at the 5-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. So out comes Terrence Holmes. He's going to try and make it a 7-point lead as the Kingsway side of the field has gone silent.
Very silent. But you're right, turning on the Jets is an understatement. He just exploded along that right corner, Kevin Evans did. He had 3 Kingsway defenders on that right side. He just went past him.
Holmes' last kick was a bit of a squibber. Let's see if he can get this one up and good. Nice hold, and it's down. That's a great kick. That almost hits the scoreboard. on a fly, and that's probably 30 yards behind the goalpost. So he kicked that ball about 40 yards, 45, 50 yards in the air for that extra point. And it's good. It's 28-21. Chuck, we're going to have a replay on that.
Yeah, I want you to watch Kevin Evans here. This is just his effort along that right side. Little screen pass that goes out to him. And you're going to see here the Kingsway defenders coming to play, and he just turns that corner. You can see him arches back there and just turn it on into the right corner of the end zone. Beautiful run for Kevin Evans, and that's what we expected to see here, is Kevin Evans come out here and establish himself in the Tri-County Conference, of saying, okay, Julian Worley, you're in California now in junior college. Now this is going to be my running game. I'm going to show you what I can do.
That was almost a play there that the Kingsway defenders almost said, well, he's going out of bounds. And it's almost like you can almost see them, they all kind of just pulled up a little bit. And again, that comes with experience, and see what happens. They don't let that happen again. If Coach Barczyk has anything to say about it.
And Rick, you know, I said earlier, and people might think I'm crazy by saying this, is Kingsway is doing pretty well in defense. I think they are doing pretty well. Glassboro's been able, other than this past touchdown, Glassboro's been able to make the big play on a busted play. And there's really nothing you can do when you have your receiver going out for 9 seconds. They're going to lose you.
All right, back to receive deep is Fauntleroy and Roberts, and it's taken by Fauntleroy at about the 5-yard line. Straight up the middle, finds a crease. The ball's knocked loose again, and it may be McMullen or Roberts, correction, Fauntleroy or Van Morter that...
I think you were right. I think McMullen might have recovered that fumble, and that's the quarterback. Getting up slow in the play. He's helped out by his teammates, but they're congratulating him for holding on to the ball. That's the second time Fauntleroy's put the ball onto the ground on a kickoff.
He seems to have, when he takes that ball, and I don't know if we'll ever get it on a replay, maybe before the game's over, he seems to have it way out from his body. He doesn't have it tucked in, and when he gets that initial hit, the ball just comes flying out of there.
And that's something he's going to learn to adjust.
Correct.
As he gains experience. Only a junior.
McMullen now, and offsides with encroachment is going to be number 99 for Glassboro. Keith Oswald comes across, so it's a 5-yard penalty now. 1st and 5 for Kingsway from about the 25-yard line. 4:53 to go. 28-21. It was 7-0 Kingsway, then 14-7 Glassboro, then 21-14, then 21 all. Now it's 28-21 Glassboro. McMullen gives it straight up to number 34 for Kingsway, and that is Kevin Rydell, who that may be his first carry of the game.
Yeah, a nice little run up the middle. And you know, now that I'm looking at the defensive interior for Glassboro, they have a man down that looks like number 73, Ed Bugard. And also limping is Keith Oswald. And Keith Oswald is one of the guys, I'm talking about this interior defensive lineman, who's really getting a jump off the ball. But what he's doing is taking himself out of the play. Keith Oswald comes in 5'10", 180. He looks a little bit bigger than that. And what he's doing, he's getting an outstanding jump on the ball, and he's able, as we've seen earlier in the game, to get in on McMullen and almost cause a fumble of getting in where the handoff is. But he's getting himself out of the play. I think the Glassboro interior's got to look and say, look, hold on, keep your stance, and then go in and fire in after. Just give it a second, because what we're doing is we're getting beat right through the middle.
All right, McMullen brings the troops out, lines them up behind the center, looking to give the ball to Rydell, and he does. Rydell finds a hole, one block, and he breaks it down to about the 48-yard line as he's brought down by Glassboro, number 44, and that is Joe Uva.
Yeah, and there you go with having Rydell. He said just gets his first carry, second carry. He's fired up, little senior, 6 foot, 165 pounds. He wants the football. He's still in there at tailback.
Correction, that was Rashawn Pruitt with that stop, number 44, Rashawn Pruitt. All right, McMullen gives it again to Rydell. And now he's up another 6 yards. Have they found a new weapon in the second half?
Yeah, they might have. I don't know what's wrong with Tariq Hill. We'll try to find out if anything's wrong with him. But what Rydell is doing is they're just pounding the ball straight at Glassboro.
2nd down and 4. Ball on about the 43-yard line of Glassboro. Split wide is Nick Smith for Kingsway. And keeping it is Van Morter as he comes around the left and is driven out of bounds by 4 Glassboro defenders, led by number 73, Ed Bugard, and also Pruitt was in on that play. Another first down.
Number first down, and there we had number 65, Jim Riley, doing a nice job blocking for Kingsway, along with Tom Sweeney, Eric Morrow, Lou Napoleon, all them guys doing an outstanding job up front.
All right, Marty Farrell went out wide, but they gave it on the inside. We got a penalty flag thrown. Some yellow laundry on the field at about the 31-yard line. We got a hold on Kingsway, and that'll put a little bit of the burr in your saddle.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, it's surprising. We've seen a couple flags here tonight, but usually in a ball game early in the season, you're going to see a lot of penalty flags, and it's just the way that it is, because you got guys who are learning how to block yet, still aren't sure they're going to hold. Guys lining up in a formation, 12 men on the field. There's different things that you're going to see early in the year that you might not see later on in the season.
All right, it will be first down and about 20 from the 41-yard line of Glassboro. McMullen gives to Van Morter, and he's caught up in front there by Kevin Evans, and from behind by Tariq Wright, or Skeem Wright.
A nice tackle by Evans. You know, Evans looks to slide Van Morter coming across. Van Morter, a big kid. And he goes right for the legs. Make sure that he gets underneath. Nice form tackle. Brings him to the ground. Doesn't allow him to use his upper body strength to get away from Evans.
Okay, we've got Van Morter and Rydell in the backfield. In the slot way outside is Nick Smith.
And they got him.
They give it to McMullen. McMullen keeps it, rather, as he rolls out and loses about 4 more yards. And Kingsway, now Smith out of the game for Kingsway. In comes the play and be brought in by another player, and it looks to be Farrow.
Marty Farrow.
Marty Farrow.
But how about Kevin Evans making 2 nice plays there, in on the sack, firing in from the corner. Able to wrap up McMullen for a loss. Now third down, looks like it's going to be about 18.
Third down, about 18. Farrow and Roberts are the wideouts, with Rydell and Van Morter in the backfield. Straight back, and he falls down trying to get away from Gaines. Rasheem Gaines came through there from a linebacker spot and absolutely untouched, and made McMullen just not realize what was going on, and just fell down.
Yeah, I think McMullen maybe lost his footing, but Gaines just went firing through the middle of the Kingsway offensive line. McMullen basically just falling, and now they're going with a quick punt formation. Maybe trying to catch Glassboro.
Rydell will punt, puts it up, nice punt, bit of a spiral, and taking it is Holmes. Holmes makes a couple of turns and brings it down to about the 21-yard line, where Glassboro will take over. First down and 10 with a minute to go. As long as that first quarter was, that's how quickly this third period is going.
Oh boy, don't blink in this third quarter. What happened to all the scoring? Glassboro comes down and really basically won this quarter. Defensively, didn't give up the big play. Kingsway was able to run the ball a little bit up the middle, but a couple of big plays, a penalty. Glassboro's yet to give up a point in the second half. And with the score now, they lead it.
All right, Wright has Waters and Evans behind him, as it's been all night. We got Muse and Anuko split out to the sides. And pitches out and fakes the pitch out, keeps it himself, blocked by Muse, and he's taken out of bounds by the Glassboro defender. Looked like Marty Farrow. Nice play.
Yeah, nice play by Marty Farrow to stay home. After Muse was blocking his man, he was looking to run downfield to see Sakeem get one of them buster plays wide open for a touchdown again.
Again, our cramps being a bit of a problem here. Holmes out of the game, and he was on the sideline over there getting attended to, I believe. He may be back in now. But again, no, Anuko and Amuse are in the game, and I don't see Holmes in there.
Where's the pickle juice when you need it?
Absolutely. In motion goes Matt Anuko. Wright gives it inside. Nice tackle straight up, and I think they may call a face mask there.
If
By
they're calling
number
a
3, I know.
If they're calling a face mask on this, I'm going to be I won't be very surprised. But
Now the new rule this year is 5 yards and 15, just like they do in. That's one of the new rules in high school football.
this better be a 5-yarder because he really did not grab that face mask. And here you see Tony Barchuk livid on the sideline with that face mask call.
Said it was 5 yards, and it almost and I don't know if we have a replay on that, but again, I don't want to second guess the officials, but it almost looked like his forearm went onto the mask and not the hand. So again, it is a judgment call, and 5-yard penalty only, not a personal 15-yarder. So
They're a lot closer than we are, right?
Absolutely.
So let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt.
For second game, actually the first real week of the year. Last week, a lot of non-conference games. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
all right, right now Waters and Evans split in the backfield. Anuko goes in motion, and new receiver over the middle and dropped by Anuko. And we had a new receiver in the game for Glassboro, and that was Jamie Cleary.
The younger son of Bob Cleary, and also the brother of graduated Sean Michael, who's at Rutgers now, who was a leader on this team, a fierce hitter, fierce competitor. That was Kevin Evans over the middle, and I've been looking for that play with Glassboro, having it come over the middle because they've been able to have success on the outside. Terrence Holmes now back in the game, but Kevin Evans dropped that ball, and maybe he thought, I'm over the middle of the field. Let me see what's coming at me.
Evans and Anuko go to the far left side with Waters and Evans in an eye behind the quarterback. Right, straight back, rolls, nobody, finds no one except number 99, Keith Oswald, standing on the sidelines, thinking, why'd you throw the ball to me?
Yeah, really, that's another one of those plays where he just throws it away. You had nobody open. You still get another down now, third down, and probably looks like about 10 yards. So 3rd and 10. There you get see a great shot of the moon. Looking at that moon, little harvest moon. You can never, you can't go wrong when you have high school football and a nice harvest moon.
Is that a moon?
Yeah, that it sure is.
Someone was, okay.
A nice harvest moon.
Someone,
If it isn't, then we're in trouble because there's something bright and fiery in the sky.
are you allowed to shoot a moon? I didn't know that.
I don't know.
Okay, all right, here we go. Sakeem Wright drops straight back, and he finds Evans on a little flare out to the left side, and he goes up and untouched. He may go all the way. He's down to the 10. He's going to go in with a 63-yard pass play on a little screen, and Glassboro now takes a 2-touchdown lead if they can convert this extra point. I don't know if we're going to get that on replay, but we may see one of the best runs after a catch here tonight.
Well, you're going to talk about the run. I'm going to talk about the Terrence Holmes block on that corner.
Okay.
I hope we do get a look at that because Terrence Holmes threw a great block on the other side of the field to spring Evans down the sidelines. But they were talking about Kevin Evans in his rushing. He really needed to establish himself rushing. Again, I was wrong. Just throw him the football. This guy's catching balls out of the backfield and bringing them in for touchdowns.
34-21, trying to make it 35 is Holmes. His kick is up, and it is good. 5 touchdowns, 5 extra points for Terrence Holmes. 35-21, 23 seconds to go. So Glassboro comes out in the third quarter with some reckless abandon and scores 2 touchdowns.
And the story tonight, Sakeem Wright. And we're going to take a look at this. And I want to take a look at this block over here by Terrence Holmes, number 9. You'll see him split out wide at the top of your screen. Wright's able to drop back. Kevin Evans, that little screen has worked well for them the entire night, taking advantage of that. And here you're going to see that block on number 2. Terrence Holmes springing. Kevin Evans down the left sideline. Goes all the way in for the touchdown. Nice run, nice block, nice execution. And Kingsway has no answer for that screen.
They sure don't. Next game we work, we're going to get you a clicker.
A clicker. That's what I can use. If I can have one of them clickers you can draw.
Okay.
Let's work on that.
All right.
See if we can put it in the budget.
Okay.
Because I'll draw another one of them harvest moons. Maybe they're good luck.
It is Terrence Holmes to put his foot to the ball at the 40-yard line. Back deep is Van Morter. and Rydell and Roberts, and Darius Fauntleroy, after fumbling twice, is no longer back for Kingsway to receive the ball.
And I'm sure he's a junior. He'll be back. He'll be back there at some point in time. I think he just needs to get a little bit of work on holding the football, and that's going to come with time. You know, this guy, Darius Fauntleroy, he comes in. He comes in, Darius Fauntleroy, at 6'2", 180 as a junior. He has great athletic talent. He does have good hands. He's able to come out and catch a couple balls and play well defensively. So we'll see how he develops.
McMullen, he gives to Rydell or Van Morter, I believe, up the middle there. It might have been Tarif Hill.
And Tarif Hill now back in the game. A great sight for Kingsway. So he had a heck of a first half. 10 for 143. Only one carry so far in the second half, a 3-yard run. Looks like he picked up about 4 there.
All right, we have the end of 3 full quarters of play, where the score is Glassboro 35, Kingsway 21. Don't go away. We've got high school football here on Comcast. Starting the fourth quarter, Kingsway, McMullen looks to pass and does to Roberts. It's tipped, and it was an incomplete pass, not behind the, not a lateral of any sort. So the Kingsway players went running after the ball, as did Glassboro, thinking it might have been a fumble behind the receiver, a pass behind the quarterback, but it was not. So it's just an incomplete pass. 3rd down and 7 for Kingsway, and this is again, when you're down 2 touchdowns, every series is big, but this is a big series for him. McMullen now with Hill and Van Morter behind him. Gives it to Van Morter and keeps himself, rather. And McMullen takes it up to about the 30-yard line. About the 28-yard line. Fake me out on that one. I thought he gave it to Van Morter.
He decided on keeping it himself. Nice play from behind. That's not the play they're looking for now. It's going to be interesting to see what Tony Barchuk's going to call here. Looks like it's going to be about a fourth and 2, 4 and 2.5. And looks like they're going to bring the punting unit onto the field. And I think you have to. It's 11-23. The way you've been able to get a couple of big scores from Tarif Hill, if you don't make it here, Glassboro takes over. The ball game could be over.
Holmes standing on about his own 45-yard line to receive a punt from Rydell. Kevin Rydell gets a kick away, and it's almost blocked. They're going to let it bounce. It bounces Kingsway and then straight back, and now it comes towards Glassboro, and it's down at about the Kingsway 43-yard line, and it was almost a roughing the punter there, but the Glassboro players stood him up on that.
You can see a little bit of precipitation. Looks like some rain.
The moon is gone.
The moon has disappeared, and
the rain is here.
And the rain is here. Yep. Let's see if that's a omen for Kingsway or for Glassboro.
See what happens. Sakeem Wright. He's got Holmes and Evans split out, or rather Anuko, and he gives it to Waters, and Waters goes off the left side behind a blocking of Chapman and Bugard, and picks up a lot of yards. McBride, rather, correction.
That's little McBride, who they really liked. They said he had an outstanding game against Hedrick Hudson, really surprised him. It's getting a little bit of action here in a big Tri-County Conference game.
I really like the way that Bob Cleary is mixing up everybody is involved in this offense tonight for them.
Nice job by Bob Cleary to mix it up. You're exactly right. You know, with cramps and all the things that you see during a football game, it's nice to get other people into the game to get them some experience.
All right, Holmes out to the left, and this time he gives it to Waters, I believe, this time. Or McBride. And McBride, again, down to about a 2-yard gain.
McBride, nice spin to pick up a couple of extra yards. You know, Glassboro's content on running the football, trying to run the clock down. A big Tri-County Conference game here early in the year. If they can walk out of Kingsway with a W, they're going to be extremely happy.
You know, I should, McBride is 5'9", and Waters is 5'5", so I don't want to slight McBride by saying that these waters when he's giving up 4 inches. All right. Sakeen pitches out to McBride again, and McBride gets about maybe back to the line of scrimmage. And it's going to be 3rd down. Bit of a conservative offensive play here by Glassboro.
And I think it's a good call. Right now, even though Kingsway's been able to run the football and get some quick strike touchdowns with a 75-yard run earlier by Tarif Hill and the way he was able to run and establish himself in the first half. Take some time off the clock, get the young guys some touches. You have guys coming off to the sideline with cramps. If you can walk out of Kingsway with a victory, I think that's what you want to do here, and I think they're just trying to run the clock out and pick up the win. Of course, we don't want to see that. We want to see him go through the air and score more touchdowns on both sides.
Muse and Holmes slot out to the left. Wright looks that way. Looking, throws into deep in the end zone. Is Muse wide open?
Touchdown.
Touchdown by number 7, Jason Muse. A 25-yard pass play. Scored that touchdown from about maybe 26 yards. Nice play. Wright rolls out, and you thought they were keeping a conservative shot.
Well, run the football, then go deep.
They kept it conservative. They only threw the ball 26 yards instead of a 60-yard pass play.
And how about Jason Muse? He's really shown me something. And as I said, if Jason Muse establishes himself as a weapon, this Glassboro offense can be better, even better than last year. Already 41 points with a chance to put 42 on the board against Kingsway, who really does have a good defense. Even though they lost some players last year, they do have a good defense, and you'll see that coming up in the next few weeks.
Holmes to kick the extra point, and it is good.
Good.
41-21, and Glassboro now with 42 points, 42-21.
And here's the touchdown to Jason Muse. And I don't know what's happening on that sideline, but Jason Muse is finding himself wide open this evening, able to get behind the secondary. Ball's going to come down, and basically he's just waiting for it. Nice catch, nice concentration with a man on top of him. Of course, he's 6'2", and with his leaping ability, able to come down with the football. And you look at Terrence Holmes and Jason Muse, and they're going to make Sakeen Wright also look very good because they go up and get the football. When you have wide receivers who not only can beat a secondary, but then can go up and out-leap somebody, you're going to get those 25, 30, 40-yard touchdown passes that maybe other teams can't get because of the size of the wide receivers. This team has receivers that not only are tall, but can jump and go up and get it.
42-21, as you see on our screen there with the score, and at 8:52 to go in the game. And Glassboro picks right up where they left off last week. So far in 2 football games, they have scored 89 points.
And how about this? I mean, this is really unheard of in high school football, especially from a Group 1 school. 359 yards for Sakeen Wright.
The ball goes through the hands of Roberts and hits the official, but he picks it up. 3 Glassboro players wait for him, and they bring him down at about the 16-yard line, where Kingsway will take over. And you were saying?
359 yards for Sakeen Wright so far this evening. And that's, in high school football, 359 yards, especially from a Tri-County Conference school, is just amazing.
And we want to let you know, that is unofficial.
That is unofficial.
Unofficial. Sean does a great job, but he gets a little excited with that pen, and sometimes
every once in a while
he's writing on the inside of
11 to 111.
The press box on the wall and trying to keep stuff running out of paper. Napkins from the guy's pizza next door he was marking stats on. I couldn't tell if that
anything
was
I could get my hands
zero
on.
or a slice of tomatoes. All right, here we go. Kingsway now. McMullen keeps it himself, and again lost his footing there, it seemed.
It did look like he lost his footing there.
It'll be 2nd down and 13 now.
Let's give credit to the Glassboro defense. Kingsway hasn't been able to do anything here in the second half offensively, able to get a drive going, but their drives are stalling, and I think it's because Glassboro put an emphasis on the linebackers to come in and pick up the interior line of the defense.
Roberts and Smith go deep. They throw a flare on the left side to Tarif Hill, and Tarif Hill picks up maybe about 8-9 yards on that It comes down with 3rd and about maybe 4 for a first down. They had 2nd and 13 before that gain. Nice play there. Had the defense think they were going to the right and throw a nice little screen pass to the left.
They're trying to get their seeing what Glassboro's doing with their screens. Kingsway figures, let's try it ourselves. You know, the difference in the halves, Hill starts at 143 in the first, only 15 so far in the second half of total yards on offense. So Glassboro doing a nice job shutting down Tarif Hill in the second half.
All right, McMullen rolls out, looking to pass. Keeps it this time, and he's swarmed under by Rasheem Gaines and also number 66, Greg Keith, laid a licking on the quarterback from Kingsway.
Yeah, he sure did. McMullen, only 5'9", 155, got smothered on that play. You see Gaines there giving high five. We hear from our truck, smushed, smothered, smashed.
Okay.
Either any one of those adjectives will do.
And Rydell is back to punt with 7:05 on a 4th down. So, again, is Holmes standing at midfield. The kick is away. It's going to come down near about the 30, 40-yard line and is downed by Kingsway at about their own 37, where Glassboro takes over with another opportunity to push it in.
Another opportunity. You know, coming into this game, I really thought that both defenses would come up to the task for both offenses, and really, they've really struggled. Both defenses have struggled against Glassboro against the run, Kingsway against the pass. That's something that both teams, if they want to go deep into the Tri-County Conference and into the playoffs, are going to have to improve throughout the season.
Okay, right with Holmes out to the left, and it looks like Anuko or Muse out to on the right side. He gives the ball to McBride. McBride gains about 2 and then is driven back, but they're going to spot it at about the 35-yard line, where it will be 2nd down and about 7 or 8.
And now do you say they run out the clock? Try and pick up a first down on the ground, or will they prove us wrong again and go deep?
Well, again, if this was towards the end of the year, I think they might. Beginning of the year, you got to keep running plays. I mean, you're not going to get to practice against a team like Kingsway, so you've got to try everything that's in your arsenal.
That's a good point. And they also get some confidence. I'm sure Jason Muse is going to come out of this game thinking he can play against anybody in the Tri-County Conference.
McBride tries to break a tackle. He's brought down by Tarif Hill, or at least he spins him around. What a tough little guy to bring down. Number 21, Ralph McBride, 5'5", 145 pounds, and I think they're giving him some weight on that one.
Ralph McBride, here's the guy who comes in 5'5", and he's a tough 5'5". He's a guy who's not going to come down easy, makes those spinning plays, makes those little moves, able to cut back against the grain. And as you said, Bob Cleary giving his kids, his younger guys, a chance to play, and it's a great move. It's a great move because if you're a Group 1 defending champion, there's going to be teams that are coming at you every single week. You're going to need the depth.
For those detractors that say he might be running up the score, no way. This is what you need to do. You've got to work your troops early in the season. Right, drops back straight to pass, looks deep, doesn't find anyone, looks again, throws it, and wide open is Holmes with Barrel on him, and he makes a catch for a touchdown.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
43-yard pass play. Over 400 yards passing now is Sakeem Wright in the game unofficially.
Unofficially, we have him at 402 yards.
Yes, unofficially.
Yards.
Even if it's 398, that's a lot.
It's just... That would be Terrence Holmes' third.
I believe that's his third one.
Touchdown of the game. We've lost track.
I believe that's his third touchdown.
But it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable that, I mean, you keep saying, how are these guys letting them get behind him?
I mean, Farrow did the right thing. He face guarded him right, stayed with him, didn't turn around and lose the defender, and he still caught the ball.
After this extra point, I'll explain what Glassboro is doing. You know, you look at Glassboro and you say, okay, how can Kingsway allow the receiver to get behind him. We're going to try and show it here on the replay. You're going to see Sakeen Wright again, another busted play. This is where they make the big plays. Similar to the Minnesota Vikings professional football, Randall Cunningham does the same thing. Busted play, Randy Moss knows to go deep. Here's his Randy Moss, Terrence Holmes. He's with the receiver, he's with the cornerback right now. He decides to break on his own. They have this sense about them that, hey, let's do this before they work on it during the off season, during the summer. When a busted play, I'm going deep. Similar to what Randy Moss and Randall Cunningham was able to do from Minnesota Vikings.
We have to get you out of the visiting all those high school coaches. Randall Cunningham now wears a star on his helmet.
Oh, well, you know, I tend to forget that because I was a Randall Cunningham fan and being an Eagle fan, you know. I don't want him to even be near the Cowboys, so I don't acknowledge that he's a Cowboy. Right?
Okay.
I'm in denial.
All right, but we're talking about Dragons and we're talking about Bulldogs, and right now the Bulldog is slaying the Dragon. Absolutely.
Sure
49-21.
And I don't think anybody could have predicted this. 49-21 score.
What's even worse is a shutout in the second half for the Glassboro defense.
And that is amazing from what we've seen in the first half. What they've been able to stop the big play.
What both coaches talked about has come to fruition, and that is what defense slows down the offense will win the game, and that's what happened. Glassboro defense slowed down the Kingsway offense in the second half. Rydell takes that kickoff and gets down to about up to about the 31-yard line. And so Kingsway now takes over with 5:08. And I'll tell you what, I give all the Kingsway faithful a lot of accolades. They are hanging in here. 49-21, no one is leaving.
But they'd be waiting to see if Sakeen would reach 500.
I have no idea.
That's high school football. You never know. 5:08 left. Crazier things have happened. Tony Barchuk's got to be a little disappointed in how this game's turned out.
McMullen gives to Van Morter, and he stops solid at the line of scrimmage. Stood straight up by number 99, Keith Oswald. And how many times have we said that name tonight?
And he's done an okay job. And I say okay because he does get that first step. He's a guy who fires off the ball, and he's going to make the plays for losses. A lot of plays for losses this year, but he is susceptible to getting the ball run down and past him. Once you make that play, teams will take advantage of that. Guards will trap you, and then all of a sudden you have a guy who's running by you up the middle for a big yardage.
Now
you see Tony.
All right, we're going to take a break with the score of 49-21 here on Comcast. All right, we come back out of that. Missed one play there, and that was McMullen dropped the ball. It was almost recovered by Glassboro, and McMullen now in a shotgun formation. Calls for the ball, takes it, rolls out to his left, looks downfield, finds a receiver, and it goes through the hands of Sly Van Morter.
Yeah, through the hands, and McMullen having to release the ball because of the Glassboro pressure. And, you know, it looked like Kingsway in the first half was dominating the line of scrimmage. Now in the second half, Glassboro seems to have the stronger legs, and they're now dominating the second half with the defensive front. And there, look at Bob Cleary. He's got to be really happy with what he has been able to see here in the second half, not only from his offense, but from his defense.
Kevin Rydell back to punt as he's been all game. Gets a nice punt away. This time it's a nice spiral. It's dropped and picked up by Muse, but his knee was down as he was touched, but his knee was down as he went to pick the ball up at about the 41-yard line, and the officials blow it dead right there, and we will start. High school as well as college, when you're down with your knee, you are down, and the whistle is blown.
Now it'll be interesting to see if Sakeen Wright will come out or if they'll allow Matt Anuko to come in. Sakeen Wright has come in and proved all he's had to prove so far this evening. I don't believe he's coming out. I think we're going to have a new quarterback.
Matt Anuko is in, and he's calling the signal, so Sakeen Wright is done for the night, and unofficially, like we said, over 400 yards, and if it's not over 400, it's real close in passing. Anuko, and let's see what his backfield tandem is. It looks like Waters, or no, it's rushing Gaines, and Gaines was a halfback on that, takes the handoff and goes to the right side, picks up a couple yards. We'll try and pick up the fullback on that play. looked like number 23 is the fullback for Glassboro at that time, and that looks to be Sean Baxter.
Sean Baxter. What they call garbage time.
Do you know the words to this song?
No, I could not sing it.
Okay.
I can make up some words, though, I'm sure.
I believe there's only about 4 lyrics in this song. All right.
I can hum it.
Anuko hands off, and the ball is fumbled, but recovered, we believe, by Glassboro. Let's see. Looks like
Covered the fumble for Glassboro.
nice recover by Gaines. Is again, new quarterback. I mean, Nuko's been handling the ball tonight, but not in a quarterback situation. So a little different when you've got to take that snap and you're calling the plays. You're trying to focus on what's going on. Again, Anuko is a junior, could be the quarterback next year for this Glassboro team.
That's a nice job by Cleary. Get him in the game.
Pitch out to Gaines. Gaines going nowhere. He pitches back. And
He wanted to pitch.
Anuko, he gave it back to him, and Anuko was thinking about throwing the ball to Baxter.
He was thinking, and he had Baxter wide open, number 23 down the field. If that would have happened.
So what they did in the huddle, they said, okay, you're the rock, and you're the piece of glass, and you're the Coke bottle, and I'm going to pass it over here, and then I'm going to give it back to you, and I'm going to throw to the rock. I don't want to be the rock. I want to be the piece of glass. So, I mean, that
play always works. It always works. I don't know what happened there.
But remember, don't use a Ford or a Chevy as a blocker because sometimes you can get hit.
Every once in a while, and those are the painful hits. But, right there, they're trying to make something happen. I'm sure Bob Clear's going to say, look, we'll put you in there for these plays. Just execute the plays. If they don't go anywhere, don't let them go anywhere, because that's not the way you're going to learn by trying to make something up.
Shamar Robinson was showing off his math skills there. He was counting, making sure they had 11 players on the field, and I think they didn't get the playoff in time because they didn't have enough people, and so they end up with a 5-yard penalty. And now they're back to 4th down and about 28, and they're going to punt the ball, I believe, and let's see who's going to punt for them this time. It's going to be Anuko, or are they going to run a play? They're going to run a play. They're not going to punt.
Well,
no, they're going to punt.
They are going to punt. Anuko's
back. Here we go. Anuko
Kevin Evans comes in. Regular punt team out there.
Back is Rydell, and Rydell is waving for a fair catch and takes it at about the 47-yard line, 46 of Glassboro, where Kingsway will take over and try and punch one in with 1:25 remaining in the game and a stunned Kingsway crowd. They led in this game 14-7, and then it was 21-14, and then they tied it up at 21-all.
21-all, and that was our halftime score, but Glassboro able to put 28 unanswered points onto the board, now 49-21 with only 1:25 in the game. Sakeen Wright has been the story, unofficially over 400 yards and 6 touchdown passes.
Eric Fromm, the new quarterback, gives to number 25 for Kingsway, and that's Akira Brown. He's a sophomore, and the sophomore gains about 1 yard.
Tony Bartruck trying to get some of his young players into the game, because a lot of them will see action, if not this year, but next year.
Now in the game, number 71, Don Schmidt, a senior for Kingsway, listed at 6'2", 373 pounds.
God bless him.
And they go up his side, and they gain almost a first down as Don Schmidt laid out about 3 Glassboro people to open up a hole there for the running back, and the running back is down on a play. It looks like he's okay. I think he was a bit stunned there, and should be up and okay. He is limping. Take him off the field.
It's your future Dragons there. Akira Brown.
That's Wyckoff coming off.
And Wyckoff, who's a number 40.
Great basketball player.
Fullback.
Great basketball player. Left-hander. All right, Fromm now behind the center. And he's got Brown And he gives it to Brown. Brown gains a nice off-tackle play around the side and taken down by Lewis, number 10. And Sean is going to go downstairs, and after the game, we're going to try and get an interview with the Glassboro coach and perhaps one of the players. We'll take you the rest of the way here as the clock goes down with about 5-4. If they get a playoff from, looks like they're not going to, and they do. They do get it off. They let it go. And running with the ball is number 25, and that is Brown, and he's taken down on the last play of the game by number 8, Matt Anuko. And a final score, and we lost the clock, 49-21. The clock goes out, and the game is over. That was quick. They just shut it right down. All right. Sean is down on the field, and we'll be back with some interviews and a wrap-up of this game where the final score is Glassboro 49, Kingsway 21 here on Comcast. All right, Sean Leary is down on the field with Sakeem Wright, the quarterback for Glassboro, and their 49-21 victory tonight. And we're going to send it down to Sean right now, down on the field.
All right, and I'm here with the player of the game, Sakeem Wright. Sakeem, outstanding game. You were able to hit your receivers long basically the entire night. 386 yards from one player. I had you at 402. I had to put you over the 400-yard mark. One of the best games of your career?
Yeah, I think so. It was one of the biggest games of my career, and it was good that it was early for the team as well, because it showed us we can't just come out expecting to blow nobody out. But it came, and in the second half, it came through. And the big plays came through. So.
You're busting when plays are busting for you, and then you're able to make something happen. That seems where you get your big plays and your touchdowns. Is that something you guys work on to go long or look to go long after a busted play?
The coach and I always tell him, like, if I'm scrambling, keep on going, because I got a strong enough arm to throw it down, off the run. And with that when I'm scrambling, it throws the defense off. So. You could say it's practice, but
Terrence Holmes had a great day, but you had another guy, Jason Hughes, who really stepped up and had an outstanding. Jerome Hughes, he had an outstanding game. Now you have two receivers to throw to. What do you foresee for the rest of the season?
I see a 1-2. Well, actually, we have like a 6 combination, because we got the back coming out, the tight end, the 3 receivers rotating. So I see
big numbers.
Big numbers in the future.
Big numbers. Well, Sakeem, congratulations. Outstanding night. Congratulations again. Put on quite a show here at Kingsway High School. Glassboro was able to win. We're going to go back up top with Rick Gaidosh. Rick, take it back.
Thank you, Sean. And the final score once again, Glassboro 49, Kingsway 21. You've been watching high school football on Comcast. For Rick Gaidosh, for Sean Leary, this is Rick Gaidosh, bidding you a good night and good sports.